What's up, y'all? It's your boy again, Lump Dog, back again with the Pimps Players and Hustlers Fantasy Football League. Uh, so, had to take last week off. I was on a business trip out of town. Couldn't get the commissioner message put together on the road. So, last week was my bye week. So, I'll get them done for the rest of the year. I guess the first order of business is we got to talk about Montardo. Everyone that plays fantasy football, I'm sure, has a guy in their league who doesn't set their lineup, leaves bye week guys in, isn't active on the waiver wire, can forget it. Those are the type of leagues I expect people that are in, or free leagues, or $25, $50 leagues. But man, we got too many people paying $400 to get in this league. And not to set your lineup and to leave bye week guys in, that is just unacceptable. That cannot be forgiven. That is not cool at all. It is really screwing with the league standings, points scored, all that info. You know what I'm saying? We understand that, or at least I understand that maybe the outcome didn't change. He would have lost anyway. But at the beginning of the game, when no one scored any points, you don't know who's going to win. So just to give away that win at the very beginning like that, I feel is very unacceptable. It's the one thing I cannot live with in this league. That makes this league janky. It makes it janky as fuck when someone does that shit. We kicked James out a couple years ago for doing that. I hope we can stay consistent on that and we can get rid of Montardo. He's obviously not into the league at all. Picks up Hasselback off the waiver wire this week. Makes absolutely no sense. His explanation is just a lie to me because I know how the waivers work. Hasselback played on Thursday night last week. If he would have made that waiver request anytime before Thursday, he would have picked him up because he was a free agent and no one else picked him up. He made that request after Thursday night, or he did it this week. So when Hasselback was on waivers, and then it ran on last night, and he picked him up instead of getting Chandrick West or Niall Davis. Again, another lie, another way to just screw the league. This guy just doesn't have any morals, doesn't have any ethics, doesn't pay his money. I understand he pays at the end of the season, but we made this rule as if we were all friends. I know Britton. I went to high school with him. I know Zach. I know Darren. I know the old man. I know Jay. I know these people outside of the league. I don't know the rookies, but he's paid. He's paid some money into the league. I think that a rule change needs to be enacted that if you're anyone new to the league, you got to get 3 to 4 years, maybe even 5 years of paying up front underneath your belt before you're allowed to get the pay by Super Bowl courtesy, because that courtesy is extended because we knew that paying our fees near Christmas time when we're trying to buy presents for our family and our loved ones. You might be on falling hard economic times. It gave you some time to play and be able to try to come up with that cash. It's a different thing when Montardo is just using the rule to pay because he doesn't want to pay now. He has the money. It's not the fact that he doesn't have the money. The fucker just went to Hawaii. He's paying $300 rounds of golf, according to Luke. Unless that's a shy story. And then Luke with him in Hawaii can't even get the guy to set his lineup. It's just unacceptable to me. I'm fed up with it. I'm completely pissed off by it. And it needs to change, and it's going to change. It's going to change this offseason. There's going to be some sweeping changes made to this lockout rule and to the paying up front. Again, I don't know what those changes will be. Obviously, we'll be voting on them, but there's going to be changes. We're not going to allow this to be happening because it's really leaving us in a bad spot now. Montardo not setting his lineup, not being active on the waiver wire, which I can live with. I can live with not being active on the waiver wire, but I cannot live with you not setting the lineup. That is just unacceptable in every way, shape, or form to me. The $400 entry fee is supposed to motivate you for that. The weekly prize is supposed to motivate you for that. If those two things aren't motivating you enough to set your lineup, and you're so busy in your life that you can't spend 10 minutes or 5 minutes to make sure your lineup's set, again, then you shouldn't be in the league. You shouldn't be. We got people that actually want to be in this league who are itching at the bit to be in this league. But if that isn't good enough for you, then then peace to you. Sorry about it. Then you just need to get to step in, and we're going to change those rules because, like I said, it's just, it was extended as a courtesy, not as a way to take advantage of it. It's you got to come, at least with 250 next year, or else, you're just not in the league. And again, this could be extended to new people or people with less than 3 years of entry into the league, whatever it might be, whatever we vote on. But that's going to be my proposal, and we'll vote on it in March. As of right now, if Montaro starts Hasselbeck, I guess we're going to have an emergency rules meeting to decide what to do. I don't think he'll start Hasselbeck, but if he does, then obviously he's not taking a look at his lineup, and it's not cool, and we'll have to figure out something to do, whether it's refunding everyone's money and just calling this season a wash, or, which hasn't happened in 15 years, be the first time ever. But whatever the decision is going to be, we'll discuss it, and we're going to have to discuss it in person. It's not going to be a poll. It's going to be an emergency meeting, and if you don't show up, then you don't have a say, and you'll just have to live with whatever the rest of us do come up with. But hopefully we don't come to that. Hopefully he gets luck into his lineup, and if Steve Smith doesn't play, he has receivers on his bench he can do. So anyway, that was item number 1. So item number 2, I guess, again, I guess there is no item number 2. That was really my big rant, for this week. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into last week's game and take a look and see what happened. All right, well, here we go. Here was week 5 in the Pimps Players and Hustlers Fantasy Football League. In our first game, we had the Cock Merchants take a 121-53 victory over the 289ers. Cock Merchants led on their team by Aaron Rodgers with 31. Those 2 interceptions and fumbles, cost him 9 points. So could have hit that coveted 40 spot, but, he got a free win. So I guess he could roll the dice. Put in Anthony Dixon, I guess, too. Matt Forte was 16, 18 from Hearns. Not like the Juggernauts couldn't have used him. Talk about not active on the waiver wire. Hello. 33 from the Packers defense, huge. So gets that 121-53 mark there. 289ers pretty much killed his season with that. Going to sit at 0-5, and now points scored, and he's pretty much going to have to win out to make the playoffs. He can only really afford one more loss, and then he's going to have to score lots of points. So, been nice knowing you 289ers. Hopefully you get a payment in, and don't wait till Super Bowl to do so. Next game we had the Papa's Brew take out the Juggernauts 133-54, and this is pretty sad for the Juggernauts. Like I said, he could have used Allen Hearns, but for some reason wasn't active on the waiver wire last week. Could have used a receiver there, but keeps rolling out with Malcolm Floyd. And what's the over and under for the Juggernauts to keep the Texans? Jesus Christ, what have the Texans done this year to make you want to keep them for 5 weeks through the season? The 0 points. That is just all bad. Just keep sticking with them, huh, though? Jugs, I guess so. Yeah, man, look at 7, 13, 9, -2, and 0. Ooh, I think it's about time you start streaming. And I don't think the Texans D is anything worth holding on to. 54 points from a full lineup, too. Montardo starts, a couple bye weeks and an injured guy and scores 53. At least he had an excuse. Peyton Manning's been a complete disappointment so far for the Jugs. Andre Ellington came back, gave him some life there at his running back spot. Jason Witten's been crap with Whedon, but so is pretty much every receiver for the Cowboys. Not much else to talk about there for the Jugs. Papa's Brew, again, pretty solid team this year. Brady with 45, Gore with 15, Ryan Matthews with 15, 17 from Bolden showed up big time there in that Sunday night game, but Niners came up on the short end of the stick there. Going to be a long year for my Niners. And James Jones with 14, 13 from Josh Brown, the kicker, and only 4 points from the defense. Man, if Papa's Brew would have picked up a better free agent D, they'd have been in the weekly money run in there. Next game we had the unregistered sex offenders take out Thiz Nuts 136-96. Phillip Rivers with a big 45 points there on Monday night. 17 from DeMarco Murray, 17 from Cooks. Finally, Brandon Cooks shows up. It was bound to happen. 13 from John Brown, 20 from the Seahawks D. Thiz Nuts is on a little bit of a losing streak there. Matt Ryan didn't show up, only 18 points. Rawls, though, big 24 against the Cincinnati Bengals. 17 from Hopkins, 10 from Lambo, kicker there for the Diego, and 17 from the Falcons D. See, look at Juggernauts. Thiz Nuts picked up the Falcons, free agent defense, 17 points. You drafted the Texans D. Keep holding on to him, though. Keep holding out hope. I mean, are you that much in love with J.J. Watt? That's all I need to know. Are you love J.J. Watt that much? You're willing to ride or die with that fantasy defense. But more power to you, bruh. More power to you. Next game, we had the Haters take out A-Team 132-67. A lot of low scores this last week from some teams. Eli Manning, I made the trade with the Haters getting Emmanuel Sanders. Gave up Eli Manning 60 points. That's the one thing I don't like about our league, how we've undervalued the court. I mean, I should be able to get more than Emmanuel Sanders for Eli Manning, but got what I could. Needed that receiver since I lost Dez Bryant. You guys have been hearing me bitch about that all year, so I won't go into that much. But got the big 60 points from Eli. Not much else going on the team other than 15 from Gostkowski and then 25 from the Eagles D. So got a big 132, which kind of scares me because I gotta play the Haters this week, and 132 when you only got the only double digits you've gotten is your quarterback, your kicker, and your defense, but you still put up 130. That's a little scary. A-Team, Matthew Stafford with the big Bagaki 15 points. What's happened to him? Talk about regression. Man, the regression of Matthew Stafford reminds me of the regression of the Juggernauts and their fantasy skills. Back-to-back champs back in, 2002, 2003, and hasn't really done much since, and can't seem to let go of this Texans D. I know I'm harping on it, but, it's pretty funny to me, so I'm going to keep talking about it. 14 from Dion Lewis, 12 from Julio Jones, and then that's really all talk about there on that squad. Next game, we got the weekly winner, Trump's a Pimp, scoring the big 149, taking out big loads, 149-113. Man, Andy Dalton, I got to hand it, Trump's a Pimp, man. Real some balls there to try to roll with Andy Dalton. He's been the number one quarterback in fantasy this year, so props to you. Made that trade for Doug Martin, came through for him with a big 34 points. 19 from Odell Beckham, 19 from Edelman, and then 16 from the Bills D. Why in the hell he didn't start Tyler Eifert, who goes with Dalton, over Charles Clay? I'm not sure. Luckily, it didn't cost him the win, but did it cost him some points there. Might come in that tiebreaker because he has that one tie there. Big loads led on his team. Sam Bradford show up with 39. Le'Veon Bell, fantasy gold, guy's worth 20 points practically every week. Isaiah Crowell with 13, 11 from Fitzgerald, and then 21 from the Patriots D. Two big zeros, though, from Inman and Fleener, though. That's got to hurt because, again, those points scored. But he scored 180-something points just a few weeks ago, so, he has the points scored in when it comes to a tiebreaker, but those two big zeros, and those hurt when you have players in like that. But, congrats again to Trump's a Pimp for winning that weekly this week. And then in the last game, you got Mr. Sweet Spot taking out the rookies 131-21, handing the rookies their first loss. Guy was riding high. Had to slap him back down to the earth. I had 34 from Palmer, 15 from Hyde. Man, my curse of this year that's driving me crazy between C.J. Anderson and Hillman, killing me. 12 from Emmanuel Sanders, so that I guess some of that trade did pay off to give me a receiver, but I could have started Eli. Not sure if I would have, though, and would have had the 60, but whatever. Big 21 points from Antonio Gates coming back. That was huge for me. 12 from Brandon McManus, and then 32 from the Broncos D. Rookies led on their team there by Drew Brees with 36, 23 from Justin Forsett, 11 from Arian Foster, 19 from Allen Robinson, and then 16 from the Chiefs D. But, gave him that 10-point loss, knocked him off his perch, put me a game out of first. But I definitely need to get some points scored here because I got some people in my division that have a little bit more points than me. But it's still early, so can put it up. Which, by the way, we are in week 6 already coming up here this week. So just a reminder that the trade deadline is week 10 after week 10 starts, which is Thursday night. Would be the Thursday night players. You can't trade them. You'll have up to Sunday to trade any players that play Sunday or Monday. But then come week 10, the start of week 10, and on that Sunday, that's the trading deadline. So you only got about 4 more weeks to trade. So just keep that in mind. Don't say I didn't warn you. All right, so that was last week's matchups in the Pimps Players and Hustlers Fantasy Football League. All right, so that was last week's matchups. Again, it's week 6, and we got our trading deadline coming up week 10, so make sure you remember that. Montardo, get a payment, and I want the rest of the league to get on this guy's helmet. Everyone should be asking this guy to get a payment. This is not cool. Everybody should be on this guy's helmet, making sure he understands that not setting a lineup and not paying money is just not the way to go in this league, and it's just going to end up getting him kicked out. And I don't want to kick him out if we could avoid it, but I hate the turnover. I like having the same people in the league year after year, but if he wants to fuck around, then let him fuck around somewhere else, because we ain't having it. Yada day. All right, y'all, so good luck in week 6, and I'll catch y'all next week. Peace.
Then I enter real deep in. The neighbors hear my fucking name all weekend. Watch the back, girl. Put your booty up. Yeah, you wet. Yeah, dude says for dick you down every day. If you need that, ladies, let me hear you say, dick you down, dick you good. Take this dick just like you should. Right now.